There it goes. There it goes.
Argument here with the young man getting off of it.
Every story on this list actually happened. We're talking about people who paid for a cruise, walked up the gangway, made it on board, and then did something so unbelievably stupid that they ended up banned for life, arrested, hit with federal charges, or removed from the ship in front of everyone they were trying to impress. Some of these are funny, some of them are not, but all of them will make you feel a lot better about your own decision-making the next time you're on vacation. Let's get into it. Number 1. Stubborn passenger refuses to leave the ferry. A woman on a Carnival cruise tender ferry refuses to get off when it docks. Every other passenger has already disembarked. She's still in her seat. The crew ask her to leave. She says no. They explain the ferry needs to turn around for the next group. She tells them this isn't her problem. Carnival created the situation, so Carnival can sort it out, and until they do, she's not moving. This goes on for nearly an hour. Crew members trying to reason with her. Her giving the same answer every single time. A ferry that should have left the dock long ago is sitting there because one passenger has decided the schedule doesn't apply to her. Eventually, the crew gives up and calls the police. Officers come on board and try the same conversation the crew already tried. She gives them the same answer. By now, there's a crowd watching from the dock because a woman refusing to leave a ferry for an hour is the kind of thing people stop to look at. The officers run out of patience. 2 of them lift her out of her seat and carry her off while she's still arguing. The crowd on the dock actually cheers. Here's what she missed. The ferry was always going to leave. The only question was whether she walked off or got carried off. She picked the second one. Number 2. Passenger demands the manager and loses the argument. A woman walks up to a crew member at guest services and demands the manager. He starts to ask what the problem is so he can help. She cuts him off, louder. Manager, now. He tries again. She's not interested. She wants the manager, and she wants the entire room to hear it. So the volume climbs. The insults start. She's calling him names in front of a line of other guests who are now standing there watching their check-in turn into a show. The crew member doesn't react. No raised voice, no defensive comeback. He keeps offering to help in the same calm tone the entire time she's screaming at him. What she doesn't realize is that every guest services desk has cameras, every interaction gets logged, and abusive behavior toward crew is a written violation of the crew's contract she signed. The manager she kept screaming for does eventually show up, not to fix her problem, but to tell her that she will be escorted off the ship at the next port at her own expense, with no refund for the rest of the cruise. Her onboard account has been flagged. Security has her name and her cabin number. The crew member she'd been screaming at goes back to helping the next guest in line like nothing happened. She came in wanting to win an argument. She left with her cruise over and a room full of strangers who watched the whole thing. Number 3. Unruly passengers are removed before the cruise begins. A group of passengers is in the embarkation line. Something sets one of them off. A question from the crew, a document issue, doesn't matter. He starts yelling at the check-in agent. The rest of his group joins in. Within seconds, it's 4 or 5 people surrounding one crew member, voices raised, finger pointing, the works. People behind them in line back up and start filming. The crew member tries to de-escalate. They get louder. He asks them to step aside so he can help the next guest. One of them slams a passport down on the counter. Another leans across and gets in his face. At this point, the line behind them isn't a line anymore. It's an audience. Security has already been called. 2 officers walk over and ask the group to come with them for a conversation. The group refuses. They start the same argument with security that they were having with the crew, except louder, because now they're the ones being singled out in front of everyone. That's the moment it ends. Security doesn't negotiate. Boarding denied. All of them. Luggage pulled off the belt. Key cards deactivated before they were ever activated. They're walked out of the terminal while the line behind them keeps moving like nothing happened. Here's what they didn't understand. Once a ship leaves port, the cruise line is stuck with whoever's on it for the next 7 days in the middle of the ocean. They watched 5 adults lose control over nothing, in public, in front of phones, after being warned. The cruise line saw a preview of their week and decided to skip it. The ship sailed. Their vacation ended in the parking lot. Number 4. Passenger kicked off. Wonder of the Seas for smoking. A guy on Royal Caribbean's Wonder of the Seas is in the onboard nightclub. He lights up a cigarette. Indoors. In a nightclub. On a cruise ship that has very clear rules about where you can and can't smoke. Security spots it almost immediately. They walk over and remind him that smoking is only allowed in the designated areas out on deck. He's been told this before. It's not the first time security has had this exact conversation with him. They check the record and confirm he's already received previous warnings on this same sailing. That's the part that ends it. One warning is a mistake. Repeated warnings followed by lighting up in a nightclub is a pattern, and Royal Caribbean has a standard response to patterns. His cruise is terminated. Before he's even removed, his onboard alcohol privileges are revoked, which means the rest of his night on the ship is dry. The ship is heading for Cozumel. When it docks, Mexican immigration officers come on board and escort him off. He's not finishing the cruise. He's not getting a transfer to another port. He's getting off in Cozumel and figuring out his own way home. The flight back to Florida is on him. Here's the part worth sitting with. The designated smoking areas were always there. He could have walked outside, had his cigarette, and gone back to the nightclub. Instead, he kept testing the same rule until the rule tested back. Number 5. Royal Caribbean lifeguard punched on Icon of the Seas. Royal Caribbean's Icon of the Seas, the biggest cruise ship in the world. Up at the Category 6 water park, a lifeguard is doing his job, watching the slides, enforcing the rules, the usual. A grown man doesn't like something the lifeguard told him. Could be a height rule, could be a safety call, could be him being asked to wait his turn. Whatever it was, he takes it personally. He walks up and gets in the lifeguard's face, screaming, pointing. The lifeguard stands there and takes it because that's what crew are trained to do. Don't engage, don't escalate, wait for security. The man doesn't wait. He throws a punch, full swing. The lifeguard drops. What the man didn't notice is that another passenger nearby, Pat Brumley, has his phone out and is recording the whole thing. Every second of it. The video hits Facebook within hours. By the next day, it's past 1 million views. Cruise blogs, news sites, every cruise community on the internet sharing it with the same caption, "Find this guy." Royal Caribbean doesn't comment publicly, which is how they always handle these, but their guest conduct policy is 1 page long and very clear. Any physical contact with crew is removal, possible legal action, and a permanent ban across the entire Royal Caribbean group, every ship, every brand, forever. He didn't just lose the rest of his vacation. He punched a crew member doing his job on the world's biggest cruise ship and got his face shared 1 million times for it. Number 6. Carnival Sunshine, Fried Chicken Brawl. Aug 2025, 2 a.m. on the last night of a Carnival Sunshine cruise out of Miami. The late-night buffet is open, and the line forms where it always forms, around the fried chicken. Someone tries to take more than their share. Someone else has a problem with that. Words get exchanged, and then it's not words anymore. Within seconds, 20-plus passengers are throwing punches in the middle of the buffet. Shoes are flying, phones are flying, plates of food are going over people's heads. A woman in the background is screaming, "Where the hell is security?" While another passenger, Mike Terra, just keeps filming because what else are you supposed to do when grown adults are brawling over chicken strips at 2 in the morning? He turns to the camera at one point and says, out loud, "Over-fried chicken? This is insane." Security takes a while to get there. By the time they break it up, the damage is done. The video is already out. Mike posts it. The account @OnlyIndage shares it. By morning, it's gone international. Every major news outlet picking it up, millions of views, Carnival Cruise Line getting roasted in every comment section on the internet. Here's the part that sticks. It was the last night. They were all going home in the morning. Whatever they were fighting for, they were about to leave on the floor anyway. They didn't lose a brawl over chicken. They lost their last night of vacation and went viral as the people who did it. Number 7. The Chair Pee Incident. A woman on a Royal Caribbean pool deck has a prime lounger. Front row, sun, close to the bar. She's been in it for hours. At some point, she needs to use the bathroom. The bathroom is a 2-minute walk away. The problem is the chair. If she gets up, somebody takes it. The deck is packed, people are circling, and her towel on the seat means nothing once she's actually gone. So she does the math and comes to a decision that should not have been on the table. She stays in the chair and uses it as the bathroom, right there, in front of everyone. The passengers around her notice immediately because of course they do. Word spreads down the deck. Someone goes and gets a crew member. The crew member comes back, sees what's happened, and the chair situation resolves itself very quickly. She's pulled out of the lounger in front of the entire pool deck. The chair goes straight to maintenance. She gets walked off by security to her cabin with a formal warning on her file, her onboard account flagged, and a notice that one more incident ends her cruise at the next port at her own expense. By the time she's back outside, every passenger in that section knows exactly who she is. The story is moving across the ship by dinner. By the end of the cruise, it's on every cruise forum on the internet, and it has stayed there ever since. The woman who peed in her chair to keep it. She held the seat for about 10 more minutes. She lost the chair, her cruise privileges, and a permanent spot in cruise ship folklore in exchange. Number 8. Passenger completely loses control during argument. A man on a cruise ship gets into an argument. Doesn't matter what it was about. A drink order, a seat, a comment from another passenger. Something sets him off and he doesn't come back down. He starts shouting. Then the shouting turns into profanity. Then the profanity turns into threats. He's not arguing with one person anymore. He's yelling at crew, at passengers, at anyone close enough to hear him. The area he's in clears out fast. Families with kids get up and move. Parents are pulling their children behind them and walking the other way. People at nearby tables grab their drinks and leave. Within a minute, the space around him is empty, which somehow makes it worse, because now he's standing alone yelling and there's nothing to absorb any of it. Another passenger tries to step in and calm him down. Big mistake. The man turns on him next. More threats. More profanity. The passenger backs off. By this point, security is already moving. 2 officers come in from opposite sides, get between him and everyone else, and box him in before he can swing at anyone. He's escorted away from the area in front of every family that just watched him melt down. Here's why security moves that fast on a cruise ship. There's no police station to call, no extra units around the corner. Whoever's on duty is who you get. So the moment a passenger starts threatening people in public, the response isn't a warning. It's removal, a flagged account, and a conversation about whether he finishes the cruise at all. He came in to win an argument. He left in front of a crowd that won't forget his face. Number 9. The Gambling Debt Jumper. J. Gonzalez Diaz, September 2025. Royal Caribbean's Rhapsody of the Seas is docked in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Disembarkation day. CBP officers are on board doing a routine inspection. Standard process. They walk the ship, check paperwork, talk to passengers. One of the passengers they were going to want to talk to was a man named J. Gonzalez Diaz. He'd run up over $16,000 in casino losses over the course of the voyage. That part is in the official complaint. So the moment the federal officers boarded, he made a decision. He climbed over the railing of a docked cruise ship in broad daylight, in front of witnesses, and dropped into San Juan Harbor. People on jet skis pulled him out of the water and brought him back to shore. He took off on foot. CBP caught up with him near the Puerto Rico Capitol building. When they searched him, the casino debt suddenly stopped being the main problem. He was carrying $14,600 in cash, 2 phones, and 5 different IDs. That's not a man dodging a casino bill. That's a man with a setup. The cash, the phones, the fake identification. That's what got federal prosecutors interested. The charges that came out of it weren't about the gambling. They were about money laundering and avoiding federal currency reporting requirements. He jumped overboard to avoid declaring $16,000 to CBP. By the time he hit the dock, he'd handed them a federal case instead. Number 10. The Stolen Lounger. Carnival, 2023. Viral again, 2025. A passenger on a Carnival cruise has a problem most passengers know well. Pool chairs go fast. By the time you finish breakfast, every good lounger on the Lido deck is taken. Most people deal with this by getting up earlier. This passenger came up with a different solution. He picked up an entire pool lounger from the Lido deck and took it with him. Down the elevator, through the corridors, all the way to his cabin. The cabin was an interior on deck 1, about 185 square feet. No window, no balcony, barely enough room for the bed and the suitcase. He brought a full-size pool lounger into that space. It didn't even fit properly. There's no scenario where this isn't noticed. The Lido deck is constantly monitored by crew because of how aggressive chair hogging has become on Carnival ships. They had a missing lounger logged within minutes and a full ship of cameras to trace it. They found the chair. They found him. Carnival's brand ambassador John Heald eventually posted about it on Facebook, asking guests to please not do this because they had to actually make the request out loud. The post went viral in 2023 and viral all over again in 2025 when somebody dug it back up. Carnival's policy on this is clear. Removing ship property carries a fine of up to $500 and possible removal at the next port. He wanted a guaranteed pool chair. He got a fine, a viral post with his cabin in it, and a lounger he couldn't even sit on properly in a room the size of a closet. Number 11. The pervert with the hidden camera. Harmony of the Seas. A passenger on Royal Caribbean's Harmony of the Seas decides he's going to film people in a public bathroom. He picks his spot, sets up a hidden camera, and walks out thinking he's done something clever. He hasn't. Another passenger walks into that same bathroom, notices something that doesn't belong, and looks closer. It's a camera. He reports it to security immediately. Security pulls the device and sends it to be examined, but they don't really need it to identify who's behind this. A cruise ship is one of the most heavily monitored environments most people will ever set foot in. Every corridor, every elevator, every public area is covered by CCTV, and every camera is recording all the time. So they pull the footage for the hallway outside that bathroom and watch who went in and out around the time the camera would have been planted. They find him on tape. They watch him walk in, they watch him walk out. That's it. The case is done before he even knows there's a case. He has no idea any of this is happening. He's still on the ship, still doing whatever he was doing, while security is putting together the file. The ship pulls into Fort Lauderdale at the end of the sailing. Federal authorities are waiting at the gangway. He is arrested the second he steps off on multiple felony charges and banned for life from the entire Royal Caribbean group. He spent the whole cruise thinking he was the one with the hidden camera. He didn't realize the entire ship was a hidden camera and it was pointed at him. Number 12. The $3 million cocaine cruise guy. March 2025. A passenger boards MSC Magnifica in January 2025 for a 120-night world cruise. Europe, South America, the South Pacific, New Zealand, Australia, the whole way around. He's not on it for the sights. He's moving cocaine. A commercial quantity, enough to be cut into 10,000 individual street deals with a street value of around 3 million Australian dollars. This isn't a tourist who got tempted at a port. The whole itinerary is the plan. A world cruise gives you months at sea, dozens of borders, constant movement between countries, and a passenger manifest in the thousands. From his side, it probably looked like the perfect cover. Who's going to single out one cabin on a 95,000-ton ship that's been at sea for 2 months? The answer is the Australian Federal Police. They've been doing this for years. They know cruise season brings smuggling attempts. They know the routes, and they have intelligence that doesn't care how many ports you've already passed through clean. When MSC Magnifica pulls into Sydney on March 15th, AFP officers come on board with detector dogs and walk straight to the right cabin. He's charged on the spot with importing and possessing a commercial quantity of a border-controlled drug. Both charges carry a maximum penalty of life in prison. Australian sentencing on commercial cocaine importation is not negotiable. He spent 120 nights sailing around the world thinking he was getting away with it. He was getting closer to a life sentence at every port. Number 13. Carnival Paradise. 3 a.m. buffet brawl. June 2024. 3 in the morning on the Carnival Paradise. Last night of the sailing. The 24-hour buffet on the Lido deck is the only thing still open, and it's drawing the kind of crowd you'd expect at 3 in the morning at the end of a cruise. Drunk, tired, and looking for one more meal before disembarkation. Two groups start trash-talking each other. It's the kind of back and forth that usually fizzles out. This one doesn't. Somebody throws the first punch. Within seconds, it's 10 to 15 passengers swinging at each other across the buffet. Full haymakers. Chairs getting picked up and thrown, plates going everywhere. Other passengers scatter, but enough of them stay close to film, because at this point, the brawl is the show. The video is online before security even has it under control. Travel Pulse picks it up. Cruise news sites run with it the next morning. Carnival makes a statement, which is unusual for them. They don't usually comment on guest behavior. But this one was too public to ignore. Every person involved gets hit with a $500 fine charged directly to their onboard account before disembarkation. Every person involved gets placed on Carnival's Do Not Sail list. Permanent ban across the entire Carnival fleet. The cruise was already over. They turned the last few hours into a viral fight, a $500 charge on their bill, and a lifetime ban from a cruise line they'd already paid to be on. Number 14. The drunk rampage on Royal Caribbean. FBI case. A Royal Caribbean ship leaves San Pedro, California, heading for Ensenada, Mexico. A few hours into the sailing, one passenger has had way too much to drink. He's loud. He's aggressive. Crew try to calm him down, and that's when it turns. He kicks one crew member directly in the face. Then he turns and punches another one in the head. At this point, he's not arguing anymore. He's just attacking whoever's closest. Crew swarm him. It takes multiple people to bring him down. They zip tie his hands behind his back, then put handcuffs on him on top of the zip ties, because he won't stop fighting even after he's pinned. Other passengers are filming the whole thing. The footage ends up on TikTok through Fox 11 Los Angeles and pulls millions of views within days. What he probably didn't know in the moment is that attacking a crew member on a US-flagged cruise ship isn't a cruise line problem. It's a federal problem. The FBI has jurisdiction over crimes committed on U.S. vessels in international waters, and they take it seriously. By the time the ship turned around, the case wasn't with Royal Caribbean security team anymore. It was with federal investigators. He's looking at federal assault charges, a permanent ban from Royal Caribbean, and a video of himself in handcuffs that millions of people have already watched. He went on vacation. He came back with an FBI case file in his name. Number 15. Port Miami Brawl. 16 banned from Carnival. June 2026. The Carnival Conquest has just docked at Port Miami after a 3-night sailing to the Bahamas. Disembarkation day. Thousands of passengers are working their way through the U.S. Customs and Border Protection checkpoint with their luggage. Two families end up near each other in the line. Something is said. A woman in a black dress turns and lunges at a woman in pink standing behind her. They start throwing punches. Within seconds, it's not two people anymore. A man in a navy shirt jumps in and shoves the woman in pink. A woman in a yellow dress joins from the other side. Suitcases are everywhere. Other passengers back up and start filming. 16 people from these two families are now actively fighting in the middle of a federal checkpoint, in front of CBP officers, in front of police, on camera. The footage gets out the same day. Storyful picks it up. Every major outlet runs it within 24 hours. The Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office calls it a mutual combatant situation, which means none of the families wanted to press charges against each other, so no arrests. That's where most of them probably thought they got lucky. Then Carnival makes its own decision. The cruise line doesn't need a criminal conviction to ban anyone. All they need is video, and they have hours of it. Carnival places all 16 people on the Do Not Sail list, a permanent ban across every Carnival ship for every person involved. They left with a viral video, a federal incident on record, and a lifetime ban for all 16 of them. Number 16. The Bachelorette bride banned for life. Maddie, October 2025. A bride-to-be named Maddie boards a Carnival ship for her Bachelorette cruise. Before the trip, she does what a lot of people on TikTok have done. She hides alcohol inside fake tampon wrappers and feminine hygiene product packaging, walks it through security in her bag, and gets on the ship with the bottles intact. So far, so good for her. She's on board. The alcohol is in her cabin. She could have stopped there. Instead, she opens TikTok. She films a full breakdown of how she did it. The wrappers, the packaging, the trick. Then she films herself pouring the smuggled alcohol straight into her drink on the ship. She posts both videos to her account, @MadisonWest2000, and goes back to enjoying her bachelorette party. The video takes off, and the comments section does something she didn't plan for. Other TikTok users start tagging Carnival Cruise Line directly under the post. Carnival's social team sees it. Within hours, ship security is knocking on her cabin door. They search her mini fridge and find more hidden alcohol exactly where the video showed it. She's brought to a meeting and made to write a formal statement. They make her use the word smuggled, not brought. That word is what locks the ban in under Carnival's policy. She's placed on the Do Not Sail list mid-cruise, in the middle of her bachelorette party, banned from Carnival for life. She filmed her own evidence, tagged her own ship, and turned her bachelorette cruise into the reason she'll never sail Carnival again. including for her honeymoon. Number 17. The Balcony Fisherman. Carnival, April 2023. A Carnival ship is docked in Nassau, Bahamas. Two passengers in a balcony cabin look out at the water and come up with an idea. They've got fishing line. They've got hooks. They're already on the water. Why not fish off the balcony? So that's what they do. They cast their lines out over the side of a multi-billion-dollar cruise ship from a private balcony in the middle of a port full of other passengers and crew. They think they've found a clever angle that nobody else thought of. There are reasons nobody else thought of it. A cruise ship balcony sits directly above other balconies, public decks, lifeboats, and crew working areas. Hooks and weighted lines swinging out over all of that is a safety problem the second one of them slips. And the railings, the hull, the lifeboat housings, none of that is built to be a fishing rig. Other passengers on lower decks see the lines hanging down past their own balconies and report it within minutes. Crew comes up. The fishing ends fast. What happens next isn't a warning. Carnival's safety policies cover this exact kind of thing under a long list of activities that carry an automatic permanent ban. Anything involving objects thrown, dropped, or extended over the side of the ship. Both passengers are placed on the do not sail list. Permanent ban across the entire Carnival fleet. They wanted a fishing souvenir. They got a permanent ban and a permanent place on every list of worst cruise passenger stories ever told. Number 18. The Balcony Hopping Teens, Wonder of the Seas, 2025. Two teenagers on Royal Caribbean's Wonder of the Seas are in their cabin and decide they want a video that will pop on TikTok. They're on a balcony cabin. The balcony next door is maybe 4 feet away. The drop below them is hundreds of feet straight down to the open ocean. So they climb up onto the railing in flimsy sandals and start trying to swing over to the next balcony. One of them ends up hanging off the balcony above by his hands, dangling over the water. They film all of it. Then they post it. The video doesn't do what they thought it would do. People watch it once and immediately repost it, tagging Royal Caribbean directly, asking the company to find them. Comment sections are full of horrified parents. Within hours, the clip is on every cruise forum, every cruise news site, and every major travel account, all attached to the same ship and sailing date. Royal Caribbean's policy on this is one of the strictest in the industry. Anything involving balcony railings, climbing on the ship's exterior, or putting yourself outside a safety barrier is grounds for immediate removal, no warning required. The reason is simple. If they had slipped, the ship would have gone into emergency mode, search and rescue would have launched, and the rest of the passengers would have lost their day for two kids trying to get views. They got confined to their cabin for the rest of the sailing, hit with a fine, kicked off at the next port at their own expense, and placed on a permanent ban list across the entire Royal Caribbean group. They wanted a viral video. They got one. It just happened to be the evidence that ended their cruise and got them banned for life. Number 19. The Fake Pier Runners, MSC Influencers, March 2026. 3 influencers post a TikTok titled, "Missed Our Cruise in the Bahamas." It shows them sprinting down the pier in Nassau alongside the Carnival Freedom as the ship pulls away from the dock. They're waving, yelling, dragging their bags. The reaction shots are perfect. The video looks like the worst day of their lives caught on camera. It explodes. 27 million views. Sympathy comments pouring in. People offering them money, hotel rooms, flights home. Every cruise account on TikTok is reposting it as a warning to other passengers. Then the story falls apart. Another passenger on the Carnival Freedom had been filming the dock from above. Her video shows the same 3 women running the same scene multiple times, stopping, walking back, resetting their bags, doing another take. They weren't running for their lives, they were filming a sketch, and they weren't even on the Carnival Freedom. They were passengers on the MSC Seashore, which was docked nearby in Nassau for the day and not leaving until the evening. They had hours before their actual ship sailed. The whole panic, the bags, the sprint, the missed cruise tragedy, all of it was staged for content. The exposure video goes everywhere. Cruise pages start blacklisting their accounts. Brand deals dry up. They faked a disaster for sympathy and views. They got found out by another passenger with a better camera angle, and the only thing they actually missed was the line they shouldn't have crossed. Number 20. The drug smugglers busted at Port Miami, Feb 2026. 9 passengers show up at Port Miami on February 1, 2026, to board Royal Caribbean's Symphony of the Seas. The sailing is a chartered Atlantis Events cruise, marketed as one of the biggest party cruises in the world. They've paid thousands for the trip. They walk in with their luggage, ready to check in. Inside those suitcases is the rest of the plan. Joshua Eddy, 41, from California, MDMA, ketamine, meth, and 80 grams of GBL, the drug commonly used in date rape cases. Adam Jones, 49, from Atlanta, 22 grams of meth. Brad Cloha, 41, from Nashville, MDMA and ketamine. 6 more passengers carrying similar loads. They roll their bags up to the terminal expecting standard check-in. What they don't account for is the dog. Port Miami runs K9 narcotics units through the check-in area at every major sailing, especially Atlantis charters, which have a long history of drug-related incidents and overdoses. The dog hits on bag after bag. U.S. Customs and Border Protection moves in immediately. The luggage gets opened in front of them. Everything inside gets cataloged on the spot. Inside an hour, all 9 are in handcuffs in the Miami-Dade County Jail booking system. They're charged with possession and trafficking of controlled substances. Bonds range from $5,000 to $20,000 depending on the quantities. Court dates are set. Royal Caribbean issues lifetime bans across every brand in their group before any of them even see a judge. Symphony of the Seas sails on schedule that evening. Their cabins go out empty. Their luggage stays in evidence. They spent thousands of dollars to board the biggest party cruise on the water, and the only thing that boarded was the case file against them. If any of these made you think twice about something you might have done on a cruise, or something you've seen someone else do, drop a comment below and let me know which one got you. And if you want more of these, more bad decisions, more passengers who learned the rules the hard way, more things that went wrong at sea, the next video is already up. Go watch it now. Your voyage is just beginning.